Greetings, my beloved master of the universe. Today, I would like to share 2 stories with you, which I'm sure you may have heard before. The reason that I would like to share these stories with you is to showcase to you the importance of letting go. A psychologist walked around the room while teaching stress management to an audience. As she raised a glass of water, everyone expected they'd be asked the half-empty or half-full question. Instead, with a smile on her face, she inquired, "How heavy is this glass of water?" Answers called out ranged from 8 ounces to 20. She replied, "The absolute weight does not matter. It depends on how long I hold it. If I hold it for a minute, it's not a problem. If I hold it for an hour, I'll have an ache in my arm. If I hold it for a day, my arm will feel numb and paralyzed. In each case, the weight of the glass does not change. But the longer I hold it, the heavier it becomes. The stresses and worries in life are like the glass of water. Think about them for a while and nothing happens. Think about them a bit longer and they may begin to hurt. And if you think about them all day long, you will feel paralyzed, incapable of doing anything. Remember to put the glass down." And here is another story to drive the point home. A young man was very angry at a group of people who had wronged him. He was carrying a grudge, and his attitude began to change towards even those that he loved. His father felt that it was important to talk to him before things got out of hand. One day, he came to his son and set a sack of potatoes, an empty burlap bag, and a marker at his feet. "What is this for?" his son asked. "Just trust me on this, son," the father said. "I want you to write the name of each person who has ever wronged you on a potato and put it into this empty burlap bag." "Okay," the son said. He began to pull potatoes out of the bag and write the name of each person who has wronged him on a potato. Soon the empty burlap bag was bulging. "Well, I think that about covers it from kindergarten to adulthood," the son announced to his father. "That's good, son." His father patted him on the shoulder. "But now, I want to ask you to do something for me. I want you to carry that sack of potatoes around with you everywhere you go the rest of the week." "You gotta be kidding me," the son asked with a laugh. "People will think I'm crazy." "Just trust me on this, son, please," the father smiled. "You will know why at the end of the week." The son reluctantly agreed and left laughing at his father's oddities. However, he did take the bag of potatoes with him. Everywhere he went, the next week, he lugged his sack of potatoes. It was a definite conversation starter. At the end of the week, the son took the sack of potatoes back to his father. "Here," he groaned as he handed the sack of potatoes over to his father. "You can have these stupid things. I hope I never see a potato again as long as I live." The father smiled as he took the sack of potatoes. "Well, son, did you learn anything from this?" "Only that it really stinks to lug that stupid bag of potatoes around everywhere. I hope that I never see them again." The father shook his head and agreed with his son. They laughed as the son told stories of his adventures with his sack of potatoes and the funny conversation that he had with people all week regarding them. Dad, why did you actually want me to do that anyway? The son asked. Well, son, you see, these potatoes had the names of people that you are angry at. You haven't forgiven them, and you are carrying around a grudge against them. When you have unforgiveness in your heart, it is just like carrying around a stupid sack of potatoes. It really only affects you, causes you discomfort and stress. It's a useless activity, a waste of your time. Do you understand? The son hung his head. Yes, I think that I do now. As Max Lucado once said, forgiveness is opening the prison door and realizing that you were the prisoner. To help you understand just how our emotions affect our health and thereby our everyday state of being, and to drive the point home, I would like to share with you the following. Once again, if you have been following me for a while, you most likely are already familiar with some of this information. Nevertheless, a while ago, I have received a very interesting channeling in which our benevolent counterparts have talked about the fire within us and the alchemy of life. The fire that they speak of is our blood, and how our everyday thoughts and emotions actually change the chemical composition of our blood, which in turn either nourishes our body and allows for brilliant health, or, depending on the thoughts that we allow to circulate within us, becomes toxic and causes a variety of health issues to occur. And now, as science progresses further, we are being shown proof of what the ancients have known for eons, what most alternative doctors and energy healers already are aware of. And so, what our benevolent counterparts were trying to say to us is that the search for well-being we are all so eagerly seeking is within our very own selves, within our very own cells, within our very own thoughts, within our very own blood. And so, by changing our thought patterns, as we've been guided to do over and over again by our guides, we literally can change the chemical composition of our blood and in turn heal our own selves. As I said, I was guided to a lot of information which is very interesting and explains things very well and is very important for you to hear. Words of Maurice Bedard from GnosticWarrior.com. Blood is the seat of our soul. It is said that he who controls the blood controls the mind. In the stressful and poisonous world that we live in today, many people do not control their blood. Therefore, they are easily mind-controlled, because they are poisoning their very own blood supply with their poisonous thoughts, harmful actions, and passion-filled lives, a combination that not only makes them easily mind-controlled, but also sick, and over time, it eventually kills them. This is the as within, so without of Gnosticism and alchemy. In order to know thyself, we first need to know how thyself operates. Part of this process involves the study of the occult mysteries of health, universal laws of nature, energies of science, and becoming medically familiar with the human body. One of the subjects that I would like to explore today is blood alchemy and the Bible, two very important subjects that go hand in hand, or what I'd like to call theoalchemy. Theo meaning relating to God or deities, and alchemy meaning the human chemistry based on the supposed transformation of matter. How does your temperament affect your blood, health, and aura? In alchemy and science, color is very important when it comes to the aspects of man. From our blood within to our aura without, it is all connected. We are all consciously, and some of us unconsciously, choosing our own colors of health and disease by our thoughts, actions, and lives. The German Swiss Renaissance alchemist and oculist Paracelsus confirms this when he had written that the causes of disease can be classified under 5 heads, amongst them psychological causes, and that cured psychologically by mind and faith. The meaning of temperament is a person's animal nature, and especially as it permanently affects their behavior. This is different from an occasional change of your moods that we can experience and that vary from day to day. Your temperament is your overall tone or vibration and energy or astral aura that is your most of the time. For example, if you are in a bad mood often and have a tendency to be overly negative, you would be considered to have a bad temper or negative temperament. In science, temperament, or erases, meaning mixture of tempering elements, fire, phosphorus and sulfur, air, oxygen, earth, carbon, and water, H2O. This is where the modern alchemist must practice the art of healthful balance with his mind, thoughts, actions, diet, and living, a way of life that I would like to call modern Gnosticism and alchemy, a simple method of human operation that involves the proper management of these chemical energies within our bodies, and that we can help regulate with a healthy temperament via positive thoughts, healthy actions, and happy lives. An animal or a plant cannot be entirely hot, that is, consist wholly of fire, nor can it be wholly moist, as is the element of water. There must necessarily be a mixture or tampering of qualities, and the individual temperament is designated from the quality which superabounds. Our temperaments directly relate to the alchemical color aspect of our blood, and also the color of our energy aura. This bad attitude eventually turns your red blood dark by heating the temperature of your normal, helpful chemical energies, such as phosphorus, sulfur, and homocysteine in your blood. What this does is change them into harmful gases and acids, such as sulfur dioxide, which is the product of the burning of sulfur, or of burning materials that contain sulfur, and that will simply kill you over time if you do not correct these abuses of your mind and body. Maurice Bedard goes on to say, water is the way. In nature, water always follows the path of least resistance, but at the same time, its properties can cut through rocks and change the landscape of whole continents. If we wish to evolve as souls, we must be like water and also follow the path of least resistance. Water in our bodies is the true path to peace, love, and harmony with our souls. The reason being is that our blood plasma is made up of 90% water, and modern science has already verified that water has memory. Water plays an important role in our bodies, and in particular our blood. Important facts such as our Earth is covered by 70% water, or that our bodies are made of just about the same percentage of water as the Earth, which can be found in our blood plasma, and contain even more water with an incredible 90%. The other 10% in the blood plasma contain some very important chemicals. The Japanese scientist Masaru Emoto is a pioneer in the modern discoveries of the effects from our environment and water. Masaru Emoto conducted various experiments measuring the crystallization effects that everyday human interactions such as speech, images, music, and thoughts have on water. What he had discovered were striking differences in the crystalline structure of water based on the type of input he had tested. Testing that had simply used either negative or positive energy, such as that found in music, to test its effects on water and to verify that water is emotional and has the ability to accumulate information. Emoto brought a machine into the United States at the end of the 1980s that was able to measure the properties of water and that was used to create remedies of homeopathy. In one of his interviews, Emoto stated, "I have been able to create many remedies of homeopathy and cure many diseases such as all kinds of breast, liver cancer, lymphatic disease such as leukemia, diseases of heart, and even AIDS. For 7 years, I could cure 10,000 patients only with my water. It has an apostille at the time that insists that the scientific community not accepted this, but that is something that happens for centuries of making something new." This is what Masaru Emoto has said in one of his interviews. Masaru Emoto referred to the healing properties of the spring water of a sanctuary of the Virgin of Lourdes in the south of France, where scientists used nothing special, but there were many demonstrable cases of curing disease. Regarding the healing of qualities of this water, Masaru Emoto estimated this to be due to the influence of the Virgin Mary and the girl who prayed with her every day. Therefore, the water is filled with the feelings of love and appreciation, because when God created the world, He created love and gratitude to give and receive. This translates into the immune power, and in this case, the sentiment has moved into the water. Masaru Emoto then concluded that a person full of feelings of love and gratitude is not sick. This alleged new scientific discovery of the effects of water by words, sound, or prayer is actually not new to science at all, but an old science based on ancient teachings that our ancestors had known. These secrets of water and alchemy we can actually find in the Bible, such as in John 7:38, where it is said, "Whoever believes in me, as the scripture has said, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water." Or in Revelation 22:1, "Then the angel showed me the river of the water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb." In Christianity, Jesus answered, "Very truly I tell you, no one can enter the kingdom of God unless they are born of water and the Spirit." The Taoist traditions tell us that water points us to the way. Lao Tzu says, "The highest good is like that of water." The Japanese call water sui, and it can be associated with emotion, defensiveness, adaptability, flexibility, suppleness, and magnetism. To the Buddhist, water washes away filth and impurity, which helps wash your soul from your own bad karma. To the ancient Egyptians, the secrets of heaven and water were symbolized by the god Osiris, whom we can consider a god of water, and that was regarded as the great genial principle of all nature, calling forth and cherishing the fruits of the earth. In the Quran, it is stated that living things are made of water, and it is often used to describe paradise. It is as clear as a Virgin Mary spring high in the Alps that Saint John and the saints were showing us the way in an allegorical manner to keep it hidden from the masses until now. A science of the human soul that a Japanese scientist named Masaru Emoto is now making a reality, available for everyone to understand in simple images that can in time change the very world we live in, that is filled with chaos and war, into peace and love. Science now available on the internet and even YouTube. As I mentioned before, our blood is made of 90% water, and we now know that words, music, and prayer can affect water, which resides in our very blood. Hence, what we think, what we say, what we input into our minds, and what we do, we shall become. This is why, in the religions of the world, the water symbolizes purity, calmness, cleanses, and is the purifier. I hope that this information will help you to fully see the reality of being and to consciously participate in restructuring of your minds in order to purify your fiery and water principles and fully step into the new age, co-creating a new reality of peace, harmony, unconditional understanding, support, love, and light. So how do you go about doing that? How do you go about releasing your emotions, forgiving, and letting go? In the next lesson, you will finally get to put all of this knowledge that you have just learned into practice with a step-by-step guide. In the meantime, take some time to ponder all of this information.